into the water to clean the propeller on this beautiful Sunday morning in Majuro. Got my tools, got my feet, got my mouthpiece. Feed the rest of this hose out.
That was the river, and this is the sea.
There's some condensation on the lens. That's quite surprising. Wow. Was lying in the sun in the dinghy not so good. The first time for the new aluminum dinghy coming on board. I hope it works out. Be with me.
Okay, cheers, mate.
Thank you very much, Carrie. All the best. Bye-bye. Then I crank decompress for a few turns, and then I compress. There she goes. Love that sound. Let it warm up a bit, then I have to undo my mooring tether. Got a little bit of mainsail up, hoisted it downwind, well, broad reach actually, very broad reach. I plan to motor all the way out the cut. I don't want to take any risks. The jib is ready to deploy and the main is partially up. So like having a belt and suspenders for going out the cut, not taking any chances. Anyhow, we're about 2/3 of the way across the lagoon, across to the exit. All is going really well. It's 20 after 6 p.m. It looks like we got a pretty serious line squall over there on our port quarter. I hope it kind of misses us. I think we're just on the outside of it. It's pretty smooth right now. But last night when I showed you that late in the afternoon, early evening, I showed you that squall over there right in this direction. I thought it would just kind of skirt me, but then amazingly it kind of spread out right all over to the starboard side and caught up with me. And what looked like a squall, a short squall, turned out to be a 3-hour gale. The wind in 30, 80 to 40 range. It was absolutely terrible for me. I wasn't quite prepared. First day at sea, and I had a deep reef in the main, but I should have reefed or totally furled. Actually, I should have totally furled. The main is not very new. It's been around for very long time, but now she's kind of shredded. That's the main. I had a terrible time getting her rolled up last night in that blow, and I also rolled up the jib, and the jib also is a bit frazzled on the leech there. I had expected to repair the jib and restitch before leaving Majuro, but I could not get a windless day or low wind day. It blew 18-20 every day around the clock, and I could not get the sail down out of the foil. So I just carried on with the sail as is, and she shows some wear. That's where we stand right now. It's late afternoon now on day 2, and it's pretty smooth. The wind is down to 10 to 15, and this morning it was a bit stronger. I was doing 6 to 7 knots, and right now we're down to about 5 knots. And I'm very tired from a lot of sorting out and cleaning up that I had to do. So bear with me, and I'll keep you posted how things are going. Oh yeah, by the way, sometime in the middle of the night over in that direction on the starboard shoulder, I will be rounding Woje, the last atoll of the Marshall Islands, and I make a slight turn to starboard, and from there it's a straight shot to Guam. So in the middle of the night I'll be rounding Woje. The vane is doing a really wonderful job steering downwind, dead downwind pretty well, and not all that much wind, and the vane just does a really wonderful, beautiful job. I put some orange supposedly fluorescent paint on. It's not very fluorescent, but it's not properly applied either. I rebuilt the turning mechanism of the vane. It had an aluminum shaft for all these years, for 47 years, and I kept it lubricated. But after my last voyage, while in port in Majuro, it froze up and I could not free it. So I did a rebuild. I had some Teflon rod, 7/8 Teflon rod, and I also grabbed a piece of stanchion brace on the port side. That was not important for the stainless tubing. A little cannibalization there. And I went to a PII machine shop to drill a hole in the Teflon for 3/8, a long 3/8 bolt. My lathe could not take that Teflon through the chuck, so I had to go to the machine shop. They did a wonderful job while I watched over his shoulder. Okay, so there we are. Oh yeah, another casualty of last night was the brace of the port side rail. Solar panel got carried away, so this solar panel is kind of out of commission unless a very late afternoon sun off the port beam, which is unlikely. So I'll have to fix that, make a new brace for a new hold-up stick. So there we go. Oh yeah, and my Milwaukee is also out of commission because one battery had been showing very little performance, and is now was dead a few days ago already, not chargeable. And the only good battery packed it in last night. I don't know whether it was from shock treatment or water or what, but I'm without battery now on the Milwaukee, so I have to rely on my Arian electric winches here in the cockpit and the windlass at the mast. But with no main, I don't really need to use the windlass for anything on the mast. Absolutely beautiful day, as it has been the last couple of days. Cruising along at 6.5 knots under chip alone. Really, really, really nice. The odd tiny little rainfall here and there. A couple of squalls during the night, but really great going. And I'm reading the book of my hero, Felix Count Luckner. I had the great honor and pleasure of having shaken his hand when we were in Merchant Marine Academy, 1953, 1954. He came to visit and shook his giant hand with every one of us students. It was a great moment. And he's a true hero. And his story is absolutely amazing. That's Felix Count Luckner. And we just carry on with our humble crossing of the Pacific in beautiful weather. Just want to take a little picture of you, that's okay.
jib down, what remains of the jib. No matter how I tried, I looked in binoculars and the halyard doesn't seem wrapped around the foil. But try as I may, I cannot get it down any further. So I decided to unroll a little bit of Genoa, and I hope that the remainder of the jib doesn't damage the Genoa. So I just rolled out a small bit, and when I looked, I was doing 5.5 knots. So let's hope I can resolve this problem. So here we are, sailing with a deeply rolled, deeply reefed Genoa. I don't want to unroll her too far because I don't want the shredded jib to chafe the Genoa. I may have to live with this noise for some time, unless I get the shreds down. It looks pretty hopeless. I've tried for a couple of hours, kind of sore on the hands, pulling without any place to grab other than the plain cloth. The sail cloth is very, very hard pulling my full weight, and I cannot get her beyond the point where she is right now. So I will try every so often in case something comes loose. In case something does come loose. Here that I do the pulling, but to no avail. She is stuck in this position. Very light air right now, only about 7 knots, varying between 5 and 10 knots. But we're tooling along really nicely at 5 knots of speed. Not shabby at all. In the meantime, I have rolled up the shredded jib some, but the top likes to come unraveled. I'll have to roll her up once in a while. Full Genoa now. Sometimes collapsing, but no complaints. Moving really, really nicely and enjoying the fair weather. Since the support of this port side solar panel carried away during that gale the first night out, I suspended it with some line, and it's working out very well. Couple of squalls coming through early this morning, one after the other, not really separated. So I rolled up most of the Genoa. In the meantime, I've released a bit of it and making some way. I did get some northing out of that blow with very much much reduced Genoa, but now I'm recovering, and we're tooling along quite well. But the weather doesn't look all that great, but lots of wind. So we just carry on. Which is set by there is no outlet to adjust the wind direction. Things have settled down enough. I've sorted out a good deal of the chaos. It's time to go below for a little breakfast, little breakfast, and some coffee after. Following the squalls of this morning, the wind kind of veered south of east, so I had to jibe. I thought I'd be on the same tack all the way to the northern tip of Guam, but I had to jibe because the wind veered. So here we are on starboard tack, tooling along nicely, and I hope I get a break from those squalls. This is much more comfortable right now than the first few hours this morning, so I'm relaxing. Did I say starboard tack? I think I got that wrong. I am now on port tack, okay? It is about noon. That's time to make entries of the position and also the day's run and whatever else needs recording in the logbook. So here we are, day 11. The log is reading 1,289 miles. We're doing 5 knots on a course of 288, and all is well. So here we are, day 11. It's about 3:30 in the afternoon. I just finished jibing back to starboard tack. Right away, you racers, watch out. Anyhow, going pretty smoothly. The squalls seem to have moved along. We look fairly squall-free at the moment, and I'm enjoying it. So here we are, tooling along at about 5 knots. Beautiful, pleasant weather, and all is well. By the way, I do wear a harness once in a while. I did, for instance, during the gale the first night out, when I was working on the mast, getting the remainder of the mainsail down. So I do on occasion wear a harness, but just moving around with a harness all the time would be very cumbersome. That's why I have quadruple lifelines 3 feet high. I want to show you the way I winch the Genoa sheet. I take it around the 3-speed 32 variant there. These are all variants, by the way. Variant fact, as they used to say. And from there I take it to the electric winch. By going to the manual winch first, I can free up the electric winch without losing control of the sheet, because it's got a few turns on the manual winch, and then the electric winch is free for furling line or for whatever else. So that's how I set that up, and it works absolutely beautifully, and I'm very happy with it. It's hard to describe how relaxing this is. It's really, really, really wonderful. Perfect weather, light breeze, and tooling along at 5.5 knots or so. It's absolutely wonderful and relaxing. Really, really nice. And I'm halfway through, just about halfway through my 3rd book. Books that I would never read in port. But they keep me entertained. So just tooling along in perfect conditions, absolutely perfect conditions.
From the normal navigation light, the tricolor at the head of the mast for sailing vessel at night, I also put on my two red lights separated by 1 meter vertically, and they signify not under command in the international navigation rules. And I don't expect it to be, you know, saving me or anything, but I consider it proper. And I learned this from Sir Francis Chichester when he sailed around the world solo with one stop in Australia in the 60s. He did the same thing, 2 reds over each other, not under command. And I agree with Chichester. I think it's only proper to put these lights on because I sleep at night. 90 minutes normally if there's not too many squalls. If it's benign weather, I just simply sleep for an hour and a half at a time. That's when my alarm goes off. But if it's more critical with squalls or proximity of other vessels or anything like that, I shorten the time to 1 hour, 3/4, half hour, whatever. So there you go.
There we are, not all that far to go now. By tomorrow morning we should be up here at the top of Guam. This is us here right now. There. Looks funny to see my hand like that. This is us here right now, and that's the north of Guam, and we should be there by tomorrow morning. Looking forward to that, and then we'll hang a left. How do you like that? There is Guam, the northern tip of Guam on my port beam. I jibed over to Port Tack about 2 hours ago, and now I'm shaping a course down the west coast of Guam, and I plan to get into the harbor a little bit later today, making about 8 knots right now. I suppose the wind won't be as strong going down the west coast, but everything is looking really good. Just around daybreak right now. And looking forward to having a wonderful entry into the harbor. That looks like a nasty bit of squall over there to windward. There is northern Guam again. Maybe the worst of the squall will bypass me, but I still think I'll get a fair amount of it, so I'm ready to roll the Genoa right out. shackle, don't you think? One each of these came with my CQR anchors that I bought from Thomas Fuchs in London. My Scottish CQRs, 105 pounders, and each one of the two came with a beautiful shackle like this. How do you like that? I'm shackling my mooring line on here. I've got a mooring reserved at the yacht club. I'm quite close to the harbor entrance, and here comes yet another squall. Looks like a pretty serious one. The harbor entrance is just over there. So I think I'll start rolling in some Genoa. Squall after squall, unbelievable. There she goes. Love that sound. Now I have to get rid of the feathering and put some pitch in the propeller. That's minimum pitch. That's where I put her into gear, and then once I get going, I increase the pitch. Just coming into the harbor. Got my hands full, trying to find my way. But I'm just about to pass the sea buoy. This is opposite to North America. It's like the rest of the world. So there is the red buoy, red on your left entering, not red right returning like in North America. So that's something to know. The green is over there. So we'll mosey our way in. It's quite a long ways in, and I've been given coordinates where to drop the hook for the authorities to come. I had to email my paperwork, my passport copy and other information. I had to email that to them before I got permission to enter the harbor. Anyhow, here we go. I got my hands full. Catch you later. Are you going that way?
Yeah.
Huh? That's not good for me. It's okay. There she is in all her glory. Those couple of small squalls as I was heading south on the west side of Guam were no problem, piece of cake. I arrived at the harbor entrance, and I was told by port control that I had to email my passport information and answer a few questions before they would give me permission to enter the harbor. I did this successfully. It worked out well. I headed into the harbor where they give you coordinates where to drop the hook in order to clear. And I was fortunate that my friend Steve asked for permission from port control if he could take me ashore in his dinghy. Much better than the lengthy process for me in my relative exhaustion to launch my dinghy. That worked out very well. The authorities were very kind, quick, easy clearance, customs, immigration, very smooth walk to the harbor control to pay the fee. That was great. So I'm glad to be in Guam. However, it's too late to carry on to Hong Kong, too late in the season because of cyclones, tropical storms, and that's the only apprehension about being here. This is on Cyclone Alley, and we have to keep our fingers crossed and be prepared
for possible tropical storms during the summer before we move on next winter. Thank you very much for watching.